Hi, my name is Cindy Martin, and I'm making a video today to help people overcome low self-esteem. I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and one of the most heartbreaking things I treat is low self-esteem. Because you are what you are, just the way you were made, with your own unique set of gifts and talents, and also some imperfections. You've heard it a million times. No one is perfect. You've probably heard this also. Everyone is a fallible human being. I don't think I really knew the definition of the word fallible until I became a therapist. Okay, so I'm going to define it. Fallible means flawed. It means erroneous, full of errors, makes mistakes, imperfect. So, if you're watching this video today, I'm assuming that you've been suffering from some low self-esteem. And why is it that people are so hard on themselves? I'm going to explain that to you about what causes low self-esteem so that I can explain to you today how to get rid of it. Let me explain the way the brain works. This is the biology of your thoughts and feelings. This whole huge frontal cortex of your brain is the big white matter, that part of your brain that is the frontal cortex that does all of your thinking. Life comes at me and my five senses absorb the information, and then my brain processes the information and creates thoughts. Every thought I think is connected to my amygdala, which is the emotional center of my brain, and every thought I think pops out a correlated emotion. Okay, so what happens when we do something wrong, when we make a mistake? My brain is going to process that information and come out with a thought. Oh, I messed up. I'm such an idiot. And I'm going to have a feeling of disappointment, self-beratement. People with healthy self-esteem have these moments all the time. It's just a moment in time. Like I said, nobody's perfect. Everybody's fallible. People with healthy self-esteem mess up and they think, uh-oh, I did something bad. And they move on. They say, oh, well. And they have an overwhelming overall sense of a positive view of themselves and life in general. If you're suffering from low self-esteem, what's happened is those repetitive negative thoughts about you and that harsh self-criticism has happened too much, too frequently. And some of those negative thoughts have become beliefs about yourself. And like I said, our beliefs and our thoughts trigger certain feelings. So my negative beliefs about me cause me to feel shame, self-blame, self-beratement, self-deprecation. And once this repetitive negative beliefs get encoded in the hard drive of my brain, it's like a permanent stamp of disapproval. I'm going to show you today how to remove that. Because the first thing I'm going to explain to you is the brain, its beliefs are not Wikipedia. Don't you love Wikipedia? Wikipedia before it makes before it prints something, it collects all this data, all these facts from a lot of different resources. And when it finally puts it down on paper to be part of Wikipedia, it's a collection of facts, and it's updated by people that find new information. So it's always the latest summary of facts about a certain topic. If I have a negative belief about myself, it's not Wikipedia. It's not exactly based on facts. So I'm going to show you how to change these negative beliefs, because beliefs can be corrected with new information. I'm making this video, as a matter of fact, at Christmas time. I think today is December 22nd. So consider your belief about Santa Claus. If there's any children in your room, cover their ears. When you believed in Santa at age 2, he was very real. And you got very excited every Christmas morning to see the presents that he brought. But when the facts did not support your belief that this man could fly all over the world on Christmas Eve delivering presents to everyone, the facts didn't hold up in court. It didn't support your belief. And you dropped your belief in poor old Santa. So let me show you how you've created beliefs about yourself that we need to correct today, and we can drop them like a hot potato, like you dropped your belief in Santa. So let's start with this. One of the most rewarding things about being a therapist is that people come to me and share with me their heart and soul. They admit things to me that they don't admit to anybody else, that they don't even admit to themselves. And one of them is their low self-esteem, their self-beratement, their self-shame, their self-blame. So they come to me and they say, I don't really like myself. Even worse, I hate myself sometimes. Or just the statement, I have low self-esteem. Like that's a diagnosis. I have low self-esteem, people say, because they're aware of that. They're aware of that overriding negative view of themselves that makes them feel as though they don't fit in so well in the world around them. So let's look. I want to do this with you. I want to do with you on this video what I do with patients that come into my office complaining of this problem. The first thing I say is, okay, so what is so bad about you? Okay, let's accept this. You don't like yourself. What is it about you that's so bad? Now I'm going to pause here and I want you to think about some things. Some of the core beliefs about you that are so negative. Come up with a few things. If I weren't so XYZ, blank, 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 I would like myself a whole lot better. So let's actually do this as if you were in my office. Do you have a couple of things? Let me say that you've come up with, I'm just going to use some examples of things I hear commonly. I hear I'm lazy. I hear I'm disorganized. My house is a mess. I hear I'm in debt. So let's take those things as examples. But you keep in your mind, please, the things that you came up with for you so that you can do this process with me today. Now, look at the things on your list. You say, I am blank, XYZ. You have made that a label. Like I said, a permanent stamp of disapproval. So let's question that. Let's question that belief. Are you really? Is this really true about you? Is it 100% true? Are you always that way? For instance, let's take lazy. Are you always lazy? I doubt it. Also, if you have this on your list of negative traits or qualities, you're exaggerating it. You don't say, I have made mistakes. You exaggerate the label to, I'm a failure, or I'm a loser. These labels are not facts. Part of where they come from is that we by nature are perfectionists. Like I just said, we all know logically that we're not perfect, but we all really want to be. We all have this subconscious emotional perfectionism. So when I find something I don't like about myself, like I'm disorganized, I automatically put myself on the scale of black and white, of all or nothing. Like this scale has perfect, I am so organized, a place for everything and everything in its place. My house is immaculate. I organize my time. Or I'm totally disorganized. And that is worth self-blame and shame. That measuring stick is not real. Because truly, I might have moments of being lazy, but where I am on the scale of being very, very, very organized and very, very disorganized varies all the time. It also depends on how I compare myself to others. I guess maybe I picked the word disorganized because that's one of my own things that I pick on myself about. My parents were both my mother and father were the most organized people in the world. So whenever I went home to visit them, that label on myself was like, oh my gosh, I'm the most disorganized person in the entire world. Ugh, self-blame. All right, so question these beliefs about these labels on yourself, first of all, and correct them to something more real. Like, some things are disorganized. My desk is disorganized. My kitchen pantry is disorganized. Often I'm disorganized in my day, in my time management during the day. I start one thing and I don't finish it and I move to another, and at the end of the day I say, I don't think I accomplished anything today. Again, that all or nothing, black and white thinking. I don't even see, and we forget to see the positive. I don't see the things I did today. So this perfectionistic goals and these exaggerated black and white labels are not based on facts. And they're as foolish and delusional as Santa. So correct them. I want you to take a minute and see if you can correct the things on your list, that XYZ, and see if you can see how you're not always that way. And can you see the flip side of that, the positive side of how often you are not lazy at all, or how you're not in total debt, and how you really are planning, you are taking care of your finances and feeding your family, and you do have a roof over your head. It's not black and white. Correct it to the reality. And give yourself a break. Put yourself in that positive light that people with a healthy self-esteem have. Healthy self-esteem, by the way, is not I'm great. It's not I'm up here on the perfect end of the scale of every attribute and human trait I have. It's I'm just okay the way I am. I have good things about me and some things that aren't so great. And the things that aren't so great are either things I can do something about, and I'll work on it, and I'll try to improve, or it's things that I can't do anything about, and I have to accept myself the way I am. the way you do your best friends. Self-acceptance is what you do with your really best friends. You enjoy all the positive things about them, and that's why you're such good friends. And you also see their shortcomings. But that doesn't make you dislike them. You love them anyway. Do that for yourself. Be able to see some things about yourself that are flawed and say, yeah, of course, everybody is. I'm human. I think about how comedians do that, and they make so much money because they find humor in their flaws, and they pick on themselves, and they admit it, and they make jokes about it. And the reason the audience laughs so hard is because they admit it without shame. Okay? The other mistake we made that creates our self-loathing is that we think that the way we feel is what we are. So if I feel like a loser, I think I am a loser. If I'm feeling really down on myself, and I have been for quite some time, that list of negative things about me and all of my imperfections have been looming and becoming my all-encompassed view of myself. That negative, self-critical, harshly judgmental brain keeps finding fault with me. I feel worthless. How do you feel when you say, gosh, I'm so lazy and I'm so disorganized and I have this huge debt? How do you feel when you add up the few things you've come up with to work with me today? When I ask my patients this, I say, how do you feel when you think of yourself this way? It's usually, I just feel worthless. Worthless. Feelings are temporary. Like I said, the brain thinks I'm disorganized. It triggers my feeling, my emotional center to have negative feelings about me. Feeling worthless for a minute in time or a day or a week is not being worthless, is it? Are you worthless because of your imperfections? See how crazy this is? Are you worthless because of the XYZ that you just came up with? You know the answer is no. So again, let's do a fact check. Pretend we're Wikipedia. What is worthless? What is worth? Where does a person's worth come from? If you believe that you are worthless, just because sometimes you feel worthless, is it something you earn? Have all of your negative shortcomings and failures in life added up to be that you've become worthless? No, there's no amount. And there's no amount of talent or success or intelligence or fame or fortune that makes a person more worthwhile than you. Because your worth came the minute you were born, or you wouldn't be here. So your worth as a human being is your intrinsic right. It doesn't change. Nothing changes it. It's yours every day, your entire life. Hold on to that. Never again. If you have a moment of feeling worthless, know it's temporary, it will pass. That's what people with healthy self-esteem do. If I mess up today, or if I see a fault of mine today and I have a healthy self-esteem, I'm going to see it. My brain's going to think it. because it's probably true. And I'm going to feel badly for a minute. I'm going to feel disappointed. I'm going to feel angry at myself. I'm going to feel embarrassed. But I let it pass, and I go back to my steady state of I'm okay. I'm not great, but I'm just okay the way I am with my imperfections. Now, another place that has done severe damage, how did we get so hard on ourselves, is that, again, if there's been too much damage done by a lot of other people or situations or traumatic life events, we come to believe these negative things about ourselves, especially if it started in childhood. If you had an overly critical parent or a bully of a sibling, or even some experience with teachers or coaches where you didn't measure up, or if you had an emotionally unavailable parent, maybe that parent wasn't abusive or overly critical, but just not there for you. Worked too hard. And when you were troubled, and when you were trying to figure out who you were and whether or not you liked yourself, you couldn't go to your parents and have them be very loving, supportive people who would help you realize that even when you mess up, you're still okay, you're still worthwhile, you're still lovable, you're still that special, unique person that you were born to be. Parents are not perfect. So look back on your upbringing and see what negative beliefs you might still be carrying about you today. If your father said one time that you're lazy and you're not going to amount to anything, are you still believing that? Again, let's give that belief the true and false test. Is what your critical parent said true? Is it true 100% today? So it's very important to realize that who you are and how you judge yourself today, how you judge yourself is how you judge yourself today and today only. The past is gone. Yes, I have characteristics and traits that I carry with me today and tendencies. But none of these stamps of disapproval or self-shame or self-blame are forever. So you be your only judge of yourself. Throw out any toxicity that you absorbed from negative messages you received in your past. Make sure and just take a fresh look at yourself today. But be the only judge, because you know yourself better than anybody else. Nobody knows you better than you do. Who lives with you 24/7? You. Who knows what you like and what you don't like? You do. So you be your judge. And be sure that you see every positive thing that you like about yourself. And be honest about your imperfections. If some of those negative things that you've been carrying came from somebody else, you can ask yourself, is there anything I need to learn from my past? Is there any constructive criticism that I got from that rejection when a boss fired me, or when I made a poor grade on a test? Or is there anything that my harshly critical parent used to harp on me about that actually is maybe a little bit true, that maybe is something I could work on? But no self-shaming and no self-blaming. When you judge yourself, accept yourself as you are. See if there's anything that you can improve. Because today's a new day, and the future's still tomorrow. Work on the things that you want to improve. If it's something that you can learn and grow from and work on, set realistic goals that are attainable, not unrealistic goals. Like I have to be debt-free, or some unbelievable perfectionistic goals we set on ourselves. See what maybe you could work on to improve slightly over the next, just set some goals for the next weeks or the next months, or by next year I plan on doing this. And if I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. Because promise me after watching this video that you will never let yourself think I'm worthless again. So, to summarize, you only live with one person 24/7, and that's you. Learn to enjoy yourself. Find all the things that you like about yourself, because you know what you like. You know what you enjoy. Find your positive traits. Be an honest, fair, kind judge about the things that you'd like to improve, and set some realistic goals if you want to. Self-acceptance is I'm okay just as I am, with my imperfections. I could be better, but it's not I'm great. Self-appreciation is that enjoyment I'm talking about. Your ability to appreciate you for you, just the way you were made. And self-love is all of those things, the way you love a friend. So in summary, I want you to practice this version of the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept myself as I am, to change the things that I can, to learn and grow, and the wisdom to know that I am a unique, worthwhile human being no matter what. Let me say that again. God, grant me the serenity to accept myself as I am, the courage to learn and grow and change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know that I am a unique, worthwhile human being no matter what. Just do this for yourself. You deserve it.